In the previous session, we were discussing the preparation of cost sheet. Today's class, we will be focusing on the treatment of stock. Okay? We will be focusing on the treatment of stock when it comes to the preparation of the cost sheet. When we talk about stock in a firm, the stock in a firm can be of three types. You have stock of raw materials, you have stock of work in progress, and then you have stock of finished goods. I'll repeat, when we talk about stock in a firm, the stock in a firm is of three types, or three categories. We have stock of raw materials, we have stock of work in progress, and then we have stock of finished goods. Let's touch upon each of this one by one, and then we will see how we can go about treating them when it comes to the cost sheet. Now, raw material refers to the material that is consumed during the production process. Okay? Raw material, we are talking about the material, we are talking about the input that is consumed during the course of production. Since it is a part of your production process, stock of raw material would be a part of your prime cost. I'll repeat, the stock of raw material would be a part of prime cost. Now, if at all, the levels of material has been given to you as a part of your question, okay? If the various levels of raw material has been given to you as a part of the question, then this is how you would go about calculating. You would start treatment with the opening stock of the raw material. To that, you would add any new purchases carried out during the time period, and then you would subtract the closing stock of raw material. You will come to know the cost of material consumed. Okay, so you will start off with opening stock, add the purchases during the course of the year or during the course of the time frame, and then from that you would subtract the closing stock. So this will help you to know the cost of raw material that is consumed. Now, this calculation, this computation, we would have to apply only if we have been given the levels of raw material. But if the cost of material consumed is given to us directly, you need not do this calculation. Next is stock of work in progress. Now, what is meant by work in progress? Work in progress refers to semi-finished goods. You have started processing your raw material, but it is not completed as yet. It still needs to undergo some more stages of production. It still needs to undergo some more activities before which you can call this as your finished product. Now, the dilemma here is neither is it in the state of raw form, neither is it in the state of finished form. So it is something in between. It falls somewhere in between. That is the reason why it is called as work in progress. Now, there are a lot of cases, there are a lot of scenarios where work in progress would play a very critical role. Let's look at the furniture industry. For a carpenter to work on the raw material and convert it into a finished good, which is the furniture, the carpenter may need a period of time. So the raw material in his case would be wood, and he starts processing the wood, but now it is not a completed furniture as yet. It still needs to undergo some more stages, it still needs to go some more activity. That is when you can call it as finished goods. Okay? Now, when it comes to work in progress, how do you go about treating it? When it comes to work in progress, it is a part of your factory overhead. It is a part of your factory overhead. So if at all your work in progress is given to you, then what you have to do is, remember in your cost sheet, you will be estimating a prime cost, and after your prime cost, you will have to consider all your factory overhead. So your work in progress would be a part of your factory overhead. You will add the opening stock of work in progress. From that, you will subtract the closing stock of work in progress, and then you will have to calculate the works cost or the factory cost. So this is how you would be treating when it comes to work in progress. The last category of cost that we would have is stock of finished goods. Okay, when it comes, the last category of goods that we will be having is cost of finished goods. Now, cost of finished goods, these are goods that you have finished. It is processed, but it is not ready for sale as yet, or it has not been sold as yet. So what do you do with inventory of finished goods? So it is considered as a part of your administration overhead. Okay, it is considered as a part of your administration overhead. So to your work cost or factory cost, if you add your office overhead, you will get something which is called as cost of production. Now, this is something new for you. This I have not touched upon the format of cost sheet that I've discussed with you so far. Cost of production is something that falls in between work cost and cost of goods sold. Okay, I'll repeat, it is something that falls in between works cost and cost of goods sold. So to works cost, you will have to add your office and administration overhead. Then to that, you have to add opening stock of finished goods, subtract closing stock, you will get your cost of goods sold. Okay. So I'll repeat this once again. When it comes to the firm, there are three types of stock they can have: raw materials, work in progress, finished goods. Raw material is considered as a part of your prime cost. Work in progress is a part of your factory overhead, and finished goods, that is a part of your administration overhead. Okay. Now, with this, on this note, let us go about trying to work out a numerical. Okay. On this note, let us go about working a numerical. So let me just quickly bring up the question here for you. I want all of you to quickly take down the question. Okay. So in this part of the session, we will be focusing on preparation of cost sheet with levels of stock. Okay. This section of our session, we will be focusing on preparation of cost sheet where the various levels of stock are given to us. I request all of you to kindly make a note of the question quickly. Quickly make a note of the question. So in the meanwhile, let's look at the question together. The question tells us that ABC has provided the following information, and they've given us a set of expenses. Now they have given us the stock of raw material on 1st Jan. They have given us the stock of raw material on 31st Jan. Now what does this refer to? This would refer to the stock of opening stock and the closing stock.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
So one person, he raised the hand. I will unmute him.
Okay, yes.
I say Sumit.
Yes. Sumit, you can unmute yourself. Okay, so it seems he has raised by mistake. He dropped me a message. Okay, I'll lower your hand. That's all right. In the meanwhile, I want all of the others to focus on taking up the question quickly. Okay, so coming back to the question, we have stock of raw materials given on 1st Jan, that is the opening stock. Then we have stock of raw material on 31st Jan, that is the closing stock. We have direct wages, this will be a part of the prime cost. Then we have indirect wages, this will be a part of your factory overhead. Sales, that will come at right at the end. Then you have work in progress. Now, work in progress, you have the opening stock and then you have the closing stock. This will be a part of your factory overhead. Purchase of raw materials, this would be a part of your prime cost. Then you have factory rent, that is a part of your factory overhead. Depreciation, that depreciation of machinery, this will be a part of your factory overhead. Then you have purchase expenses. Purchase expenses, now this item you're coming across the first time. Since it's purchase expenses, this has to do with your raw material, and then this will be a part of your prime cost. Carriage outward, this would be a part of your sales and distribution overhead. Advertising, that will again be a part of your sales and distribution overhead. Office rent, this will be a part of your administration overhead. Salesman commission, that will be a part of your sales and distribution overhead. Stock of finished goods, and this will be a part of your cost of production. Okay, this will be a part of your cost of production. Okay, with that note, let us try and work out the question now. Now, to ensure that you have a good video feed over there, I will have to stop my screen share. But just in case, if any of you have not completed the question so far, you should not do not worry. The question I have uploaded as a part of your LMS as well. So the question would be available to you in the LMS as well. Okay, so if you log into the LMS, you would be able to see the Now, let us focus on the preparation of the cost sheet. Okay, let us focus on the preparation of the cost sheet. So let me just quickly enhance my video to make sure that all of you have a good feed. Badhu sir, can you give me a quick feedback if you're able to see the board, sir? Now, in this question, just like yesterday, we do not have the number of units that are produced, as a result of which we are forced to calculate, or we are forced to go ahead with the total cost. Okay, we do not have the cost per unit available with us, as a result of which we are forced to calculate with the total cost. So on that note, let us go about with the calculation of prime cost. Okay? Let us go about with the calculation of prime cost. Now here, for raw material, we have been given the inventory levels. Okay? We have been given the inventory levels. So on 1st Jan, the inventory level given to us is 75,000. Okay, we've been given the inventory level as 75,000. Okay, we've been given the inventory level as 75,000. To this, we have to add purchases. Okay, to this, we have to add purchases. So when you, purchases is 66,000. Okay, purchases is 66,000. Then from this, we have to subtract closing stock. Okay, from this, we have to subtract the closing stock. So closing stock works out to be 91,500. Okay, closing stock works out to be 91,500. Okay, so we have the opening stock. Opening stock is 75,000. To 75,000, we will have to add the value of material that you have purchased. Value of material that you purchased is 66,000. From that, you have to subtract the closing stock. Closing stock is 91,500, which works out to be. So when you do this math, okay, when you work this math out, you will get the level of you will get the level of material that has been consumed. Okay, so when you work this out, you will get the level of material consumed. So material cost or material consumed works out to be 49,500. Okay, the material that you have consumed works out to be 49,500. Now to this, we have to add the other expenses, okay, other direct expenses. Now what are the other direct expenses that we have? We have expense on purchase, expense on purchase is 1,500. Then we have direct wages. Okay, we have direct wages. Now in the question, we have not been given any other direct expenses. Okay, we have not been given any other direct expenses. So we have material consumed, expenses on purchase, and then we have the direct wages. Okay, so we have the direct wages. Okay, I made a small mistake with the direct wages. The value that I've written here is incorrect. It is 52,500. Okay, the value that I've written here was incorrect. It should be 52,500. So when you add this up, the resulting value that you get, it is called as the prime cost. Okay, this is called as the prime cost. Okay, this is called as the prime cost, and the prime cost works out to be 1,03,500. Okay, 1,03,500. Okay, 1,03,500. Now, the next part of the cost sheet, we have to consider the factory overhead. Okay, so the next part of the cost sheet, we will have to consider the factory overheads. Now, what are the factory overheads that we have? We have indirect wages. Okay, we have indirect wages. How much is indirect wages? Indirect wages is 2,750. Okay, the indirect wages is 2,750. Then we have factory rent. Okay, we have factory rent. Factory rent is 15,000. Okay, factory rent is 15,000. Then we have depreciation on machinery. We have depreciation on machinery, which works out to be 3,500. Okay, depreciation on machinery, which works out to be 3,500. So when we have done so far, we have covered majority of the factory overheads. Okay, when we have done so far, we have covered majority of the factory overheads. Now, one important thing that you have to remember here is, in this particular question, we have been given the opening stock of work in progress. Okay, so work in progress, opening stock. Okay, the opening stock of work in progress, that works out to be 28,000. Okay, that works out to be 28,000. Okay, then we also know the closing stock. Okay, we also know the work in progress closing stock. So that also we have to subtract. Okay, so that also we have to subtract. So closing stock of work in progress is 35,000. Okay, so closing stock of work in progress is 35,000. Okay, so the resulting value that you get as a result of this, okay, the resulting value that you get as a result of this is called as factory cost. Okay, it's called as factory cost. Okay, the resulting value is called as factory cost. Okay, which works out to be 1,17,750. Okay, 1,17,750. Okay, in the meanwhile, I just happened to notice the chat. Someone sent a message. How is depreciation included? So why is depreciation included here? So you have to remember here the depreciation refers to the depreciation on machinery, okay, which is a part of the factory overhead. Someone has sent me a message asking why did I not calculate the total factory overhead? Okay, so what I have done here is I have not shown you the breakup. Now that you're quite comfortable with the format of the cost sheet, that's the reason why I have not exclusively shown you a step with the total factory overhead. Okay? That's the reason why I have not done that. But what you can still do is you can calculate the factory overhead separately, add that to your prime cost, and then you would be able to show it. Okay? It is not a hard and fast rule that you have to keep declaring the overhead at each level. In this case, now that you're a little bit more comfortable with the format, what I've done is I've skipped that part. Okay? I have skipped that part where I declare or show you the breakups of each of those overheads separately. Okay, now let us continue with the cost sheet preparation. Let us continue with the preparation of the cost sheet. What we have worked until now is we have got the we've reached to this stage. We've reached to this stage. Now, the next step is I have to consider my office and administration overhead. Okay, I will have to consider my office and administration overheads. Now, my office and administration overheads that I have here is the office rent. What I have over here is office rent. So, office rent that I have here is 2,500. Okay. What I have over here is 2,500. So if I add my office rent with works cost, the resulting value, okay, the resulting figure, okay, that is referred to as cost of production. Okay. Now this is another sub heading that we have not dealt upon in the previous case. So cost of production, okay, cost of production, this works out to be 1,20,250. Okay, it works out to be 1,20,250. Now, we have one more thing that is given to us in this question, that is, you have to add finished goods opening stock. Okay, finished goods opening stock. Finished goods opening stock is 54,000. Subtract finished goods closing. Okay, subtract finished goods closing, and this works out to be 31,000. When you work this out together, okay, you will get cost of goods sold. You get cost of goods sold. Okay, you get cost of goods sold, and cost of goods sold is 1,43,250. Okay, it is 1,43,250. 1,43,250. Okay, this works out to be 1,43,250. Now we still have some more steps to go before we finish off the cost sheet. Okay, we still have some more steps to go before we finish off the cost sheet. Now we have to consider all our selling and distribution overhead. Okay, now we have to consider all our selling and distribution overhead. Now, what are the selling and distribution overheads that we have? We have carriage outward. We have carriage outward. So carriage outward is 2,500. Carriage outward is 2,500. Then we have advertising expenses. Okay, then we have advertising expenses. Advertising expenses. Advertising expenses. Now, when you do so much, okay, this is the sum total of your selling and distribution overhead. When you add your selling and distribution overhead with your cost of goods sold, you get the resulting value that you get is your total cost. Okay, the resulting value that you get is the total cost. So the total cost works out to be 1,55,750. Okay, it works out to be 1,55,750. Now, just like the previous case, in this question as well, we have been given the sales. Okay, we have been given the sales. So sales works out to be 2 lakhs. Okay, sales works out to be 2 lakhs. Sales works out to be 2 lakhs. So now the balancing figure is your profit. Okay, so the balancing figure is your profit, and the balancing figure is 44,250. Okay, so the balancing figure is 44,250. So with that, we have completed our cost sheet. Okay, with that note, we have completed the cost sheet. Okay, so what was new in this particular question, unlike the previous one, was we had the levels of stock which was given to us. Okay, we had the various levels of stock which was given to us. Okay, so if you have any questions, you may quickly raise your hands, or you may quickly you may drop me a message in the chat.